Part 155. My green plums are super sweet. Author, Luke Hixie. Chapter 1541. Chapter 1541, Heartbroken, Nuan. Yeah, let's study now. It's time to study for the third lesson today. Mo Xiang Nguyen was very happy about Han Chi's active learning behavior this time. Han Chi listened to her lecture very seriously this time. He followed her by taking notes and drafting, as if he was a different person. Mo Xiang Nguyen was very curious, but thinking about Han Chi's temper, he held it back. After Mo Xiang Nguyen told Han Chi a few question types, he asked Han Chi to solve a question himself. Try to see if you can solve this question. Han Chi took a notebook and pen and started to solve the problem. It took about 10 minutes. He finished writing the question and handed it to Mo Xiang Nguyen. Look at it. Mo Xiang Nguyen saw the answer at a glance. It was right. Looking at Han Chi's problem-solving ideas again, there is no problem. Mo Xiang Nguyen smiled and said, yes, it's great. Han Chi nodded. Mo Xiang Nguyen nodded while reading the test book, with a satisfied smile on her face, which showed that she felt happy about this matter. Seeing her truly happy look, Han Chi seemed to have a fire hidden in his heart, as warm as her name. However, he has to say what needs to be said. If you study like today, you will definitely make great progress in the next exam. Next time. He might not have the chance to take the exam with Mo Xiang Nguyen next time. Mo Xiang Nguyen, who was completely unaware, asked in confusion, what's wrong? I feel like you are in a low mood today. I gotta go. Ah, what's the matter with you? I mean, I'm going home. Go back, go home. The two of them were silent at the same time. Mo Xiang Nguyen finally knew that Han Xingyi came not just to visit Han Chi this time, but to take Han Chi away. The news she just learned was a little difficult to digest, but from her standpoint, she had no right to say anything negative. Oh. Mo Xiang Nguyen nodded, indicating that he already knew. It seemed as if the air was gradually solidifying, and the atmosphere became a little awkward. Mo Xiang Nguyen bit his lip and told him, then you must study hard in the future and don't just play around like before. If there is no one to give you extra lessons in the future, you can ask me when you encounter something you don't understand. Then, when will you leave? Just these 2 days. Okay, well, I wish you a safe journey. Han Chi spoke very few words today, as if he had a lot of words in his heart that he couldn't say. Mo Xiang Nguyen stood up with the book in hand. After hesitating for a while, he said he was leaving. You have already mastered the questions, so today's topic is over. I'll leave first. Han Chi said nothing. When Mo Xiang Nguyen walked to the door, Han Chi suddenly called her out, Mo Xiang Nguyen. Mo Xiang Nguyen stopped immediately, but did not turn around immediately. Instead, he turned his back to him and asked, is there anything else? Mo Xiang Nguyen, are you really hoping that I leave as soon as possible? Han Chi's tone suddenly changed, and the serious atmosphere just now seemed to suddenly make you more lively. Mo Xiang Nguyen shook his head, you came to stay at our house temporarily. It's only natural that Uncle Han wants you to go home, but we can continue to play together in the future. Maybe if I leave this time, I won't come back for a long time. Why? My dad said he would go abroad to study for a period of time, and I will go. End of this chapter. My green plums are super sweet. Author, Luke Hixie. Chapter 1542. Chapter 1542 Han Chi's life experience. Then wait. Mo Xiang Nguyen quickly ran out of the room, not knowing where he went, and soon returned to Han Chi, holding a pretty box in his hand. This is what I planned to give you before, but now that you are leaving, I will give it to you in advance so as not to forget it again later. Mo Xiongnuan gave the box to Han Qi. Han Qi wanted to open it, but Mo Xiongnuan stopped him. Let's read it later when we go to sleep. Good. Han Qi answered readily. Mo Xiongnuan should have left, but he always felt uncomfortable if he held back the words in his heart and didn't say them out. Han Qi, be obedient when you get home and don't quarrel with your father again. Do you want to know why I ran away from home? Mo Xiongnuan shook his head, not knowing. Then do you know why I only have a father? Hearing the question raised by Han Qi, Mo Xiongnuan still shook his head. Everyone else avoided it, so she didn't know the truth. But Han Qi said, I know. Huh, Mo Xiongnuan remembered what Yezhiruo had revealed to her. Didn't it mean that everyone deliberately hid it from Han Qi? It took me 14 years to know what kind of environment I was born in, and how much my biological mother suffered when she gave birth to me, including her disappearance, all because of me and my father. The people around him tried hard to hide the truth in order to let Han Qi grow up happily and safely, but there is no airtight wall in the world, and Han Qi finally knew the truth. He learned about the grievances Xiaoziun had suffered, knew that Xiaoziun had brought him into this world despite everyone's suspicion and abuse, and even knew that Xiaoziun finally gave up his life in order to wash away the shame on himself. Cost. Xiaoziun chose to end her life to protect him and his father. These things started because of a wicked person, but the person who fueled the trouble was actually his biological grandmother. He finally understood why his father never took him back to his hometown in City S when he was a child. Even if he went back occasionally for special reasons, Han Xingyi was not close to Han's mother, and even deliberately avoided it. At that time, Han Qi was still young. He only knew that every time he saw his grandma, he would get a lot of good things. However, the older he got, the more he discovered that grandma always had a strange feeling when she faced him. Sometimes I would look at him and sigh, as if he was simply doting on his grandson. I still remember one time when he simply asked his grandma why she was so kind to him, and she replied, "It's grandma who is sorry for you." Now that Han Qi thought about it, he felt that grandma did not fully say what she said. Perhaps what she really wanted to say was, "I am sorry for your mother." But everything is too late. What is the use of waiting for tragedy to occur before repenting? His biological grandmother used to not believe that he was a descendant of the Han family, and she was so cruel to him when he was just born. When he learned that his grandmother had doubted his identity when he was just born and even wanted to take him for a paternity test, he was really disappointed with the Han family. So I was very angry at the time, and I was angry about why he didn't protect my mother. I don't want to stay in that home. I can't imagine that my grandmother, who has doted on me since childhood, once forced my mother to death like that. In this small room, Han Qi confessed to Mo Xiongnuan about his life experience. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. My green plums are super sweet. Author, Lu Kixi. Chapter 1543. Chapter 1543. We will definitely meet again. Mo Xiongnuan reached out and hugged Han Qi. She comforted him softly, "No, it's okay." Everything Han Qi said was beyond Mo Xiongnuan's imagination. Those complicated and terrifying things that make up stories to attract people's attention are actually true. How heartbroken was Han Qi, who had been kept in the dark for 14 years, when he learned the truth about all this. Those things are in the past. In the past? How can I get along? My mother died just because of those rumors, and the so-called face. Han Qi, a big boy, had tears in his eyes when he said this. A man doesn't shed tears lightly, but he has not yet reached the point of being sad. Mo Xiongnuan, you know, my mother was not involved in my growth, but I clearly remember what she looked like when she was alive. His father Han Xingyi kept all the memories related to his mother Xiaoziun at home. Although he has never met Xiaoziun, he sees Xiaoziun's photos and videos every day. He knows that his mother is a very beautiful woman, he knows that his mother has a nice voice, and he knows that his mother likes to appear on camera and show everyone her excellent self in front of the camera. Your mother must be very good. Yeah, she's fine. Your mother must love you very much. I would rather she didn't care about me so much, maybe the result would have been different. His home has always kept a very important video collection, which is all the videos Xiaoziun took when he was pregnant with him. Those videos each took a short time to shoot, but they recorded Xiaoziun's mood at each stage of his growth. When he played the video over and over again, he would always feel regretful and missing his mother from the bottom of his heart. Some relationships are really amazing and can become very deep without too much face-to-face contact. Mo Xiongnuan listened quietly to the story Han Qi told her, feeling numb in her heart. I just feel sorry for this boy. Mo Xiongnuan, you made my clothes wet. Han Qi helplessly looked at the traces of tears on his sleeves, feeling helpless. Mo Xiongnuan immediately wiped away his tears and said, I don't want to cry either. I didn't mean it. Tisk, it's not intentional, you did it on purpose. Han Qi. What are you doing? If you have anything to say, please tell me. Don't leave, Mo Xiongnuan muttered. You just stay in our house, daddy, mommy, brothers and sisters all like you can always stay in our house. Of course he knew that no one would drive him away even if he kept Yexia, but he couldn't be so selfish and just enjoy the warmth of family. Han Qi gave her a clear answer, Mo Xiongnuan, I have to leave. If he also left his father, how lonely and sad would his father be? Although I live with my father, he takes good care of me. Although Han Qi is rebellious, he also clearly knows that his father puts him in a top priority position. So, Mo Xiongnuan, say goodbye to me. Again, again, again. Facing Han Qi, who was completely different from before, she suddenly felt a little uncontrollable. It's just 2 words, but I can't say it smoothly. Han Qi stretched out his hand and pinched her little face, curled his lips and smiled, goodbye, Mo Xiongnuan. We will definitely meet again. End of this chapter. My green plums are super sweet. Author, Lu Kixi. Chapter 1544. Chapter 1544. Who is she thinking about? Mo Xiongnuan took the book and knocked on the guest room next door. He knocked several times but got no response. Only then did he remember that the person who originally lived in that room had left. Han Qi's departure made her unable to adapt for a while. Unable to meet in person and embarrassed to call, she seemed to have lost contact with Han Qi. Correct. She can check it out in the game. Mo Xiongnuan ran back to her room and opened the game. She created a new account in the area where Han Qi originally played, but she didn't see Han Qi online after 1, 2, or 3 days. It's strange, how come Han Qi, who likes playing games so much, hasn't been online for so long? Mo Xiongnuan sent a message to Han Qi on QQ, and Han Qi responded normally. It seemed that he was fine. Since Han Qi doesn't play games, does it mean that he has started studying hard? Mo Xiongnuan likes to think of the bright side of things, which makes him feel more relaxed. Mo Xiongnuan also became interested in this game after this period of time. She returned to her own district server to play the account she created for the first time. Now she is able to complete all daily tasks independently. Feng 11 said that he would take her to play competitive games, but Mo Xiongnuan refused. Remembering that Han Qi, who was so good at playing games, would lose points in a row. After losing, she felt bad and angry. She thought she was handicapped and did not dare to drag her master back. There was a private chat notification sound. The person whose ID was Shaiki sent her a private message, Do you want to play competitive matches? Mo Xiongnuan replied, no, I'm very good at it. Shiki, I'm also very good, why don't we go in and practice our techniques together? Mo Xiongnuan was a little moved. She wanted to explore new game modes, so she rejected Feng 11 because she didn't want to be held back. But since Li Qi is a novice like her, he is at the same level as her, so it seems that they don't have to worry too much if they can't beat her. Mo Xiongnuan has not replied yet, but Shiki has already sent out an application to form a team. Mo Xiongnuan subconsciously agreed. After the two teamed up, she realized that Shiki was standing next to her. It was just that there were too many people around, so she didn't notice it before. Shall we go fight now? Well, let's get in line. What, how can we queue up? Mo Xiongnuan looked at the screen in confusion. I come. In the past, when Feng 11 took her to play games, he would ask her to go to YY, but when she played games with Shiki, Shiki never said she went to YY. Mo Xiongnuan even thought that maybe Licky didn't know what YY was like before. She thought that this should be the case when playing games, so she asked tentatively, Shiki, do you want to come to YY? No, Shiki replied with two words, decisively rejecting her. The two newbies started to form a team and entered the competition. Probably because their equipment points are small, and the enemy they queue up is also a small one. Mo Xiongnuan doesn't know how to use any of his skills. He just lays down on the ground after a quick operation, and it's time to shout 666 to come on. But Shiki beat the two remaining men on the opposite side to death one by two after she lay down. Mo Xiongnuan chatted about him secretly, how awesome. Shiki said, it's just good luck. The first victory seemed to be a good start, and he also won the next few games. Mo Xiongnuan asked simply, are you really a newbie? I feel like you are very good at playing games. Shiki replied, well, I can't play this game compared to other games I played before. It turned out that it had a basis in games. This way, Mo Xiongnuan felt a lot more balanced. End of this chapter. My green plums are super sweet. Author, Lu Kixi. Chapter 1545. Chapter 1545 Mo Xiongnuan cried. We played a dozen games in total this afternoon, with a winning rate of about 90%. Mo Xiongnuan was very happy. Thank you. It's okay, I'll get off first. Goodbye. Seeing that Shiki's avatar was grey, Mo Xiongnuan also went offline. Winning the game will also make you feel good. Unfortunately, Yezhiruo and Yeching are both too busy people and don't have much to share with her about these little joys. But Mo Xiongnuan is already very happy. Han Qi is gone, but Mo Xiongnuan's daily life will continue. Now there is no need to give Han Qi extra lessons every day, and she also has more time for leisure and entertainment. Mo Xiongnuan finally lived the life he originally dreamed of, which was simple, plain, warm and happy. The days passed like this day by day, and she was promoted from the first grade to the second grade. Mo Xiongnuan is still worried about one thing, that is his age. She was already 15 when she came to S City to enter the first year of junior high school, and yet Qingfeng and Yezhiruo were already in the third year of junior high school. If calculated according to this age, she will be 20 by the time she takes the college entrance examination, which is too late for a girl. Mo Xiongnuan wants to skip a grade. She studied harder and devoted all her time except music to learning. She absorbed a lot of knowledge in the fastest time, passed exam after exam, and successfully skipped a level to catch up with the high school entrance examination. Mo Xiongnuan chose a well-known high school in S City. She performed stably in the high school entrance examination and was admitted to her ideal high school as she wished. By the time she was about to go to high school, Yeching and Yezhiruo had already accumulated a year of high school experience. Yezhiruo told her, The courses in high school have a lot of knowledge, and the study time is also very tight. Although you have a good memory, many memories alone are not enough. But Nuanuan is very smart, and I believe you can cope with high school life. Many people choose to live on campus when they reach high school, but Mo Xiang Nguyen did not apply because she likes the environment at home. If she lived on campus, she would have to be separated from her parents and brothers and sisters, which she didn't want to do. Mo Xiang Nguyen is about to start school, and everyone in the Ye family begins to seriously discuss who will send Mo Xiang Nguyen to school. Ye Qingfeng, who is a sister-in-law, was of course the first to raise her hand. I'll go, I'll carry something for my sister. Yezhiruo ruined the situation minute by minute. Nuan doesn't live on campus, and there's nothing to take. It's better for me to go, we're both girls. Ye Qingfeng. Excuse me, is there any special connection between the two sentences, not taking things and we are all girls? When the brother and sister finished expressing their opinions, Ye Yiwei tilted his head and raised his chin. Nuan has started school and you two have to start school too. Why don't you join in the fun? I can just take Nuan to study. Yezikin, who was sitting calmly on the sofa reading the newspaper, didn't even change his movements or expressions, and suddenly said two words, I'll go. It's just two words, but the tone also reveals determination. Everyone was silent for a moment. You looked at me, and I looked at you. Their eyes looking around finally focused on Yezikin, who had the most say. Yezhiruo, Daddy, I'd better go. Ye Qingfeng, Daddy, I just need to go. Ye Weiwei glanced at him and put on a serious education look, you study hard and leave the registration to me. Just because of sending Mo Xiang Nguyen to school, everyone in the family almost started fighting. Mo Xiang Nguyen cried. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. My green plums are super sweet. Author, Lu Kixi. Chapter 1546. Chapter 1546. Don't you recognize me? Well, I'm just going to report tomorrow and find the classroom. By the way, Mo Xiang Nguyen was only halfway through what she said when the whole family's eyes were cast on her. Mo Xiang Nguyen took a breath and his big eyes kept rolling. Obviously she is the heroine, but when they stare at her like this, she really feels guilty. Mo Xiang Nguyen paused for a moment before finishing the last sentence, I can go by myself. Who knew that the other four members of the family would retort at the same time, no. Mo Xiang Nguyen thought that if she had a pen in her hand, she would really like to write the innocent emoticon kak on her forehead. Discussing as a family was like fighting, and in the end, Mo Xiang Nguyen became the winner in life, because they had decided to wait until school started to send her to school together. Mo Xiang Nguyen really didn't expect that a small registration would be so important to Ye Weiwei and the others. I think that when Ye Qingfeng and Yezhiruo were in high school, they went alone. Although they often walked together, they were not afraid of being alone. She wanted to say that there was no need to send it, but at this time, they didn't give her the right to speak. It's such a happy decision. Others are very happy to be able to send one or two families to their families when they go to school, but Mo Xiang Nguyen is surrounded by a group of people as soon as he appears. Others think they are coming to school for something important, but they never think that it is just to sign up Mo Xiang Nguyen and find a class. Mo Xiang Nguyen really wanted to cover her face because it was too eye-catching, so she forcefully drove the four of them back to the car. Daddy, Mommy, brothers, and sisters, please don't show your face for now. I will definitely come out to find you soon after I find the classroom. Mo Xiang Nguyen left these words and quickly walked away. Ye Weiwei was still in the car and stretched out her hand, telling her, Nuan, please slow down and don't walk in too much of a hurry. It's a pity that Mo Xiang Nguyen can no longer hear these words. Mo Xiang Nguyen is very smart, but she has some problems with her sense of direction in real life. In addition, the school is relatively large, so she walked back and forth several times before she found her class. There are several people in the class who are new to the class. They had already joined the class group when they signed up, and the class teacher notified them on the notice inside that they would pick up their books tomorrow afternoon, so they can just take a quick look and leave. Mo Xiang Nguyen clearly remembered this location before leaving. When they met Ye Wei and the others outside the school, the family discussed going out to eat delicious food. The next day, Mo Xiang Nguyen was supposed to pick up books in the afternoon. This time she came to school alone. Sitting in the classroom waiting for the teacher has not come yet. She lowered her head and played with her mobile phone, and Han Chi sent a voice message. The classroom was very noisy because there was no one in charge. She didn't know what Han Chi had posted, so she could only ask him to type again. Han Chi asked her about her class, and she told Han Chi calmly. After a while, Han Chi sent another message, "Come to the back door." Mo Xiang Nguyen stood up immediately and subconsciously looked at the back door, where he saw a tall boy wearing a black peaked cap standing at the back entrance. Mo Xiang Nguyen met Han Chi twice, but it had been a year since the last time, but she felt that the figure was very familiar, as if it was Han Chi. Another message from Han Kifa popped up in his hand, "Come out." Mo Xiang Nguyen raised his eyebrows and walked out. "Are you Han Chi? What, you don't recognize me even after a year of not seeing each other?" End of this chapter. My green plums are super sweet. Author, Lu Kixi. Chapter 1547. Chapter 1547 Silly Nuanuan. It's really you. Mo Xiang Nguyen was very happy to see Han Chi. The two were about to stand outside when they suddenly saw a middle-aged woman holding a book walking into the classroom from the front door. After entering, she began to ask everyone to be quiet. "The teacher is here." Mo Xiang Nguyen has been timid in front of the teacher since she was a child. Now when she saw the teacher entering the classroom, her hands shook. Han Chi didn't say anything more and just asked her to go in. "You go get the book first and I'll wait for you outside." Mo Xiang Nguyen nodded, but actually his heart was already a little wandering. She has never felt that it takes so long to publish a book. Mo Xiang Nguyen looked back at the back door of the classroom, but Han Chi, who was standing there, had disappeared. After handing out the books, the teacher began to tell them the same words to encourage learning. Mo Xiang Nguyen couldn't listen. She originally wanted to get the books and run away, but she didn't expect the teacher to be so eloquent. He kept telling them about it. A matter of learning. Mo Xiang Nguyen sighed helplessly and lay on the table. The classmate in the third row by the window. The teacher seemed to be calling the roll, but Mo Xiang Nguyen was so distracted that he didn't hear it. Suddenly she felt the person next to her poking her, and Mo Xiang Nguyen reacted. The teacher had already walked up to her side and said, "Classmate, are you sick?" After being called on by the teacher, Mo Xiang Nguyen stood up as if to answer a question. Mo Xiang Nguyen felt very embarrassed, biting his lips and speechless. The teacher seemed to be a more serious person. She pushed up her glasses and continued to talk to everyone. "It's not even the start of school yet and you are so inattentive. I know what I said is a bit long-winded, but it's all for your own good. You have to remember to keep these words in mind, it will definitely be useful to you in the future." Mo Xiang Nguyen didn't dare to sit down when she wasn't told to sit down. She probably had been a good student for a long time, so being criticized by the class teacher as soon as she entered the classroom really made her feel a little uncomfortable. I don't know how long it took, but the teacher's speech finally came to an end. Mo Xiang Nguyen's desk mate tugged on her sleeve and softly told her to sit down first, it'll be okay. Mo Xiang Nguyen hesitated for a while and then sat down. The teacher didn't say anything, probably because he didn't care. Now Emo Nguyen was sitting in her seat, her consciousness still clear. She was afraid of becoming the focus of everyone again. Okay students, today's education is over. Tomorrow is the beginning of study. The teacher hopes that you can show your best spirit to meet the challenge. Ba, bang, bang, bang. There was continuous applause in the classroom. Seeing that the teacher was about to leave, Emo Nguyen packed all his things together. As soon as the teacher left, she ran out, but she didn't see Han Chi. Emo Nguyen stood in the corridor and looked around. The students in the classroom were leaving one after another. She lowered her head and played with her mobile phone to send a message to Han Chi and asked, "Where are you?" Suddenly she felt someone pat her back. Emo Nguyen looked back and saw that it was not the person she wanted to see. Han Chi. Han Chi raised his hand and waved to her, saying hello in a relaxed tone. "Hey Emo Nguyen, long time no see. Haven't seen you for a long time. Do you miss me?" Han Chi suddenly asked a question. "Ah. Tisk, it's been a year, why do you still look so stupid?" Emo Nguyen. "Come on, we met 2 years ago. It has been a year since the last time we met, and Han Chi is as naughty as before." End of this chapter. My green plums are super sweet. Author, Lou Kixie. Chapter 1548. Chapter 1548. Just making fun of me. By the way, I haven't asked you yet, why are you here? Come to play with you. But shouldn't this time be the beginning of the new semester? Tisk, do you still need to pick some time? Even though they haven't seen each other for a year, Han Chi is still rude to her. Emo Nguyen didn't have any opinions and was almost led by Han Chi's topic. Emo Nguyen invited Han Chi to his home, but Han Chi insisted on dragging her out to eat. He patted his chest proudly and said, "I'm treating her." Emo Nguyen had no choice but to tell his family and followed Han Chi outside to eat. Han Chi is not from City S, but he is like a living map when he walks on the road and will not get lost at all. Emo Nguyen, who lacked a sense of direction, followed him obediently. The two looked like a couple in puppy love. Emo Nguyen kept holding back something for a while. "Han Chi, you didn't run away from home again this time, did you?" Han Chi smiled mysteriously, neither admitting nor denying. Emo Nguyen felt a thudding feeling in her heart. She was really worried that Han Chi would run away from home again before his rebellious phase was over. Emo Nguyen became more and more uneasy as he thought about it, so he ran after him and held his hand to stop him from going any further. "Han Chi, answer me, have you run away from home again?" "No." "Really?" Emo Nguyen looked questioningly in his eyes. Han Chi lowered his head, stared at Emo Nguyen with his eyes, and took the opportunity to hit her on the head in a sneak attack. "You have such a rich imagination." Ouch. Emo Nguyen rubbed his forehead and looked at Han Chi with a frown, not knowing how to argue with him. Han Chi was willing to spend a lot of money this time and took Emo Nguyen out for a big meal. Especially when paying, Emo Nguyen's heart bled when he heard the amount. She bit her lip and didn't say a word, but the expression on her face was very rich. Probably since she lived in poverty since she was a child, Emo Nguyen has a strong concept of money. Even after returning to Yejia, she has developed a frugal character. She usually hesitates to buy hundreds of things, let alone two. It costs thousands of yuan to go out and eat just that much. It's really a scam. Han Chi, didn't you tell me before that things here are so expensive? Well enough. You spend money lavishly. So what, I have plenty of money, sir. What's so rich, isn't it Uncle Han's money? Tisk, Emo Nguyen, you underestimate me too much. Of course, if I treat you to dinner, it's my own money. Earn it yourself. When did you start making money? I earned it before. How do you make money? You earn it with your hands. What is that? Mo Xianyuan's curiosity had been aroused by Han Chi's words, but Han Chi didn't say anything. He deliberately took advantage of his long legs and walked in front of Mo Xianyuan, quickly leaving her behind. Mo Xianyuan ran up to catch up with him and followed him. Han Chi, how on earth did you do it? I'll just say whatever I want, and you will believe me if I lie to you. Ha, Mo Xianyuan's footsteps stopped in place. She put her hands on her waist and turned to look at Han Chi. The expression on her face also looked a little unhappy. Han Chi, who walked about 5 meters away, looked back and found that the girl who was originally following him was far away from him. He turned back and said, Mo Xianyuan, why don't you leave? You only know how to make fun of me. I can't fight you and I don't want to be with you anymore. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. My green plums are super sweet. Author, Lu Kixi. Chapter 1549. Chapter 1549. You are very cute, I like it very much. Mo Xianyuan, why are you so stingy? I'm not stingy. Han Chi has always been the one to make fun of others, but he has never experienced the feeling of being teased. I'm stupid, I tend to believe other people's words easily, but everyone has a limit to their tolerance. Hey, no, I'm just joking with you. But I don't like it when you make such a joke. Not everyone can joke easily, but Mo Xianyuan is someone who takes every word said by others very seriously. She can't stand joking. This is her personality. She and Han Chi are two people with completely different personalities. Han Chi likes to tease her probably because of their different freshness. But she didn't like that at all. Mo Xianyuan stood stubbornly on the spot. Han Chi waited for a while but did not wait for her to do anything else, so he had to lower his head and admit his mistake. Okay, I'll admit it. But such a perfunctory tone made people feel uncomfortable, especially the sensitive Mo Xianyuan. Han Chi, you don't understand at all. Han Chi immediately replied, you are just hypocritical. Mo Xianyuan was so angry that he didn't know what to say. I just don't understand why you're angry. What I just said was just a joke to you. I've already explained it to you. Mo Xianyuan finally knew what the other girls meant when they talked about straight men, and they were exactly the same as Han Chi now. Han Chi has a free and easy temper, while Mo Xianyuan likes to do things according to the rules. Han Chi speaks in a loose tone, while Mo Xianyuan either tells the truth or is unable to speak. The two people have different ideas and it is easy for them to disagree. Mo Xianyuan held it in for a long time and finally let go. She sighed and said, it's time for me to go home. I'll transfer the money to you when I get back. Han Chi asked, transfer money? What money to transfer? Mo Xianyuan answered honestly, I will bear half of the cost of the meal just now. Han Chi blurted out, no need. But Mo Xianyuan had already made up his mind to make money, and he did not forget to tell Han Chi, it's not your own money, so don't waste it like that in the future. Who says I didn't earn it myself? Han Chi, are you still teasing me? Hey, you believed me when I teased you, but now you don't believe me when I tell the truth. Okay, I was wrong this time. He really knew his mistake, because he thought of the story of the boy who cried wolf. This time Han Chi apologized to her seriously and explained, I really didn't lie to you. I earned all the money for treating you to dinner. I won awards and bonuses when I went to perform. Han Chi brushed off his brilliant achievement of winning the award, but Mo Xianyuan took it seriously. You won an award, what kind of performance can you show me? It's just some insignificant performances, music related, you study hard, and you can participate in a competition or something in the future. Hearing Han Chi's suggestion, Mo Xianyuan shook his head, I don't like to participate in competitions. There are many music competitions, but she only likes to watch them and is not willing to participate in them herself. Han Chi suddenly reached out and hugged her. Being caught off guard, Mo Xiang Nguyen didn't know how to react. You, what are you going to do? I think you are cute, I like you very much. Mo Xiang Nguyen. I was still a straight man just now. Is it so slippery now? End of this chapter. My green plums are super sweet. Author, Lu Kixi. Chapter 1550. Chapter 1550. A photo with her. After hugging her, Han Chi let her go as if nothing had happened. Probably because Mo Xiang Nguyen had a too pure understanding of the relationship between the two, so he didn't think much about it. Looking at this time, Han Chi sent Mo Xiang Nguyen to the door of his house. She asked Han Chi, "Will you go home with me?" Han Chi shook his head, "No, I'll send you back and I'm leaving." "Where are you going so late?" "I want to go back to my home too." "Does it have to be now?" "Uh-huh." Looking at his arrogant look, Mo Xiang Nguyen knew that he had made a decision, so he didn't hold back too much and only told him to pay attention to safety on the road. "Well, remember to send me a message when you get home." "Good." Mo Xiang Nguyen waved his hand, while Han Chi held his hands motionless. Seeing Mo Xiang Nguyen take 2 steps forward, Han Chi suddenly stretched out his hand to pull him back, and at the same time took out his mobile phone. "What are you doing?" "Take a photo." Turning his phone to the front camera, Han Chi put his hand on Mo Xiang Nguyen's head to straighten her. They both faced the camera at the same time, and Han Chi quickly pressed the OK button. Easy to take a photo together. This wave of smooth operations was so fast that Mo Xiang Nguyen was not ready yet. She rushed for her phone. "Show me." But Han Chi is taller than her, and she can't reach it as long as she raises the phone. Mo Xiang Nguyen even jumped up to grab it, but Han Chi refused to let her go, and even grabbed her hands to stop her behavior. "Don't worry, it looks good." He had seen the photo just now. Although it was a snapshot, it was very real and he liked it very much. "Okay, Mo Xiang Nguyen, it's time to go home." "Show me." "I will send it to you when I get back." "Really, you didn't lie to me?" "Yeah, I promise." "Okay, okay." Mo Xiang Nguyen looked back 3 times in one step and said, "You must send it to me." Han Chi watched Mo Xiang Nguyen walk in until her back disappeared from sight. Looking at the time display on his mobile phone, Han Chi took a taxi to the station outside. He returned to Hanzai very late, but he didn't expect that Han Xingyi was still waiting for him. "Dad, it's so late and you still can't sleep. You left the house early in the morning to go to City S and came back so late. What were you doing?" "Gee. I've never seen you play like this." Han Chi shrugged, "I'm leaving tomorrow. Say goodbye to my friends." Han Xingyi raised his eyes and stared at him, asking, "Are you going to see Nuan Nuan?" Han Chi asked in surprise, "How do you know?" "You brat, do I still know what you're thinking?" Han Xingyi discovered yesterday that Han Chi had booked a ticket to City S for today. He was curious and wanted to ask why, but as a reasonable father, he finally held back. He just wanted to see what his son was going to do when he went to S City at this time. Unexpectedly, he ran back obediently at night. "Since we said we were meeting a friend, it must be Mo Xiang Nguyen." Okay, you're smart. "I'm going to find Mo Xiang Nguyen," Han Chi admitted frankly and generously to what he had done. Han Xingyi raised his eyebrows, "You kid, you have been going back and forth for hours just to see her. What did you do?" "I just invited her to have a meal." "It's okay, kid." "Dad, are you kidding me? I'm exhausted today. I'm going to take a shower and go to bed. Call me tomorrow morning." "Go ahead and remember to check your suitcase again before going to bed to make sure you don't miss anything important." End of this chapter.